What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Land Cruiser Camping. This will be the last episode where I have the gas engine in my 80 series Land Cruiser known as Tonya. I wanted to get one last trip in before I swap in the Cummins 6BT turbo diesel. That is going to be happening in the next few episodes. I'm going to be pulling the engine my next upload, actually. So I wanted to get one more camping trip in with my buddy Ryan. So we headed out to Mount St. Helens National Forest area to hit some light trails and do some overlanding, not rock crawling. But before we did, we headed to a town called Cougar, which had a pretty funny sign, I thought, a little bar there. And I had a nice elk burger with some fried jalapenos, take the load off the cooking for the day, and then just headed up on the east ridge of Mount St. Helens National Park area. All right, guys, so we've got Mount St. Helens behind us here, and in the 80s, she blew. She is still active from what I've heard. I don't think she's like any chance where we're going to have her blow anytime soon, but we have a little bit of haze basically from a fire that has started kind of on the west side of the mountain. So it's not really an issue as far as us being hit by the fire, but we have that haze kind of, and we did take all the precautionary measures to make sure we're not going to get trapped out here. But as you see in like Dante's Peak and all those cool movies, yeah, that's the kind of the dome where it blew off. It is a little daunting that we're gonna find a campsite so close. If there's an eruption, we'll both be dead, but that's pretty obvious. So if you're seeing this video, I'm still alive. After checking out a few of the different viewpoints of Mount St. Helens and trying to grasp the sheer dynamics of what happened when that volcano blew, we headed out to look for a campsite. We were a little worried because it was a holiday weekend, but we ended up getting a great campsite. This was never going to be a wheeling trip for me. I still need to do a few things to Tonya to get her ready to start flexing the axles with the 40s, wheel spacers being one of them, panhard correction in the rear being another, and a couple other. Ryan wanted to cycle his suspension to see where he needs to cut his fenders to accommodate his 35s, and after that, we finally found a really nice, cozy campsite. All right, so we finally arrived at camp. We're kind of at the end of the long road that was kind of like a UTV trail, not really manicured for a while, but we made it. And yeah, it's not the most picturesque, I guess, as far as distance-wise, but it's got that nice kind of comfortable, cozy feel to it with all the, what are these, pine trees? I don't know. I'm from Oregon, I don't even know. Anyways,
They're green trees.
They're green trees. Yeah, they're green. So fire ban tonight, so no fire, of course. Won't see much of a sunrise, but the nice thing about having all the trees all around us is that we don't get much wind, so Ryan's rooftop tent isn't going to experience much shuddering noise. All right, so on to dinner. First, I want to start with a little bit of wine. So this is a Cote de Rhone. Cote de Rhone, for those of you who don't know, is a Grenache Syrah Mourvedre blend, and it comes from France. This one says 75% Grenache, 15% Mourvedre, and 10% Syrah. It's from the southern Rhone Valley. The northern Rhone Valley is usually a little bit higher end stuff and generally more Syrah driven. There's usually more blending grapes in the south. So anyways, characteristics of a Cote de Rhone blend are generally going to be darker fruits. You have some like floral, you have some, you have like violets and lavender, but you also have like smoked meats and just like beef teriyaki, decaying animal skin, kind of really funky like leather, barnyard, that whole kind of thing. Call it Brettanomyces for the technical term. I have a burgundy glass to taste this. I know it's being super fancy. For those of you who don't know, I'm actually a level 2 sommelier. Nobody probably really cares what that is. I'm just letting you know why I want to talk so much about wine, and some people have asked. So on the palate, it's definitely drinking it hot, meaning you can tell it's from a warmer climate. Right off the bat, I would guess that this is an old world wine, meaning it's from Italy or France or Germany. So there's not much oak on it. Yeah, definitely some heat on it. I'm getting like crushed rock or gravel as well on the nose. That's definitely coming through. Yeah, really interesting. It's going to go really well with the meal tonight. Finally made it down to Butcher Boys in Vancouver and got a couple racks of lamb. So I'm going to check that out tonight, and with some portobello mushrooms, baby bella mushrooms, and mashed potatoes. I just got some instant mashed potatoes because making mashed potatoes takes too long. So when we're camping, kind of some of it's like you want just like the ease of, quick preparation. All right, so we got the rack of lamb, New Zealand racks of lamb. Just some simple garlic powder, black pepper, a little bit of this. I just grabbed it at Costco, Kinder's steak blend. And then in the mashed potatoes, just kind of slowly roast. Remember, these are already pre-made, so we're cheating, but we use a little wasabi powder, little sesame oil, and soy sauce. So I like wasabi soy mashed potatoes and some little baby bella mushrooms. Just kind of slowly roasting all this. We'll turn these over and cut them up eventually, but I like kind of roasting them all as one. So, all right, so this is how they turned out. We have double cut lamb chops. Got a nice blackening on there. They're cooked to about medium plus maybe. I like mine that way. If you like yours rare, that's cool. Have a good life. These are baby bella mushrooms, and then the wasabi soy mashed potatoes. And we'll pair that with the Cote de Rhone that we just described. So, bon appetit. Contentus? It's good. Lamb is such a unique flavor. Yeah. It's like tender, gamey. It's just delicious. Mashed potatoes are a little salty, but that's alright. It's hot, so body kind of craves salt. Mushrooms are good. Earthy.
Thanks, Gordon Ramsay.
Thanks, Gordon Ramsay, exactly. And that's the nice thing about wine, is wine makes food better and food makes mind better. All in all, I think this is a pretty good wine. I give it 7 out of 10. You can find this at Total Wine for $15 to $20, and it's a good way to experience Southern Rhone Valley of France, which I think is very underrated. And it leads me into the next part of the camping trip, which is... So this is a cool little app. It's free. It's called Skyview Lite. I'm sure there's plenty of apps like this, but that's saying International Space Station and showing its orbit. But just like the wine, you can find Jupiter. Excuse me, Saturn. That's Saturn. I found Jupiter somewhere. There it is, Jupiter. And it gives you all the little horoscope signs or whatever, but there's the equinox or whatever and all that. You know, I'm not an astronomer, but anyways, really cool stuff. And the wine bottle reminded me of that. So, all right, guys, we're going to call it a night. I'm going to sleep in the Land Cruiser again, just because I'm able to move the front seat forward. So I have so much more headroom in here. It works out a lot better. So, especially without a campfire, there's not much to do at night. So I'm just going to call it a night. So I'll see you in the morning. That pretty much concludes our camping trip. We just headed out and started the long way home. We ended up going down all the way to 14 around Bridge of the Gods area, which is where I filmed actually the previous episode, the Bonneville Dam episode. Really pretty area. It runs parallel to 84 if you're on the Oregon side, and definitely worth checking out up there. Anyways, that's going to do it for this video. I did get the NV4500 rebuilt. My buddy was nice enough to do that for me, and it has the correct two-wheel drive 19 spline shaft to go into the Toyota transfer case. I did want to clarify that you can make it work with the four-wheel drive shaft, and I would use the Rockbug Industries kit for that. It's probably actually a little bit better of a idea than having to do all this and rebuild the transmission. Mine needed to be rebuilt anyways, because the bad third gear synchros, so that's what I did. But I'll link it in the description. Damien, I believe, is the owner of that company, and definitely recommend them, especially if you're in Australia. Anyways, until next week, I will see you on the trails.